Crime families are just like regular families, except instead of baking cookies for the school bake sale, they're baking cookies for the local mob boss's birthday party. And instead of winning first prize at the science fair, they're winning big by running illegal gambling rings. If you're in this family business, leaving is no easy feat. In fact, it could get you whacked. So here are some things that happen if you try to leave the mob. No. 6. The family business. The Mafia is a family business, literally. It's run by families who pass down their criminal enterprises to their children, often from generation to generation. This means that even if you weren't born into the Mafia, if you marry into the family, you're now part of the family business. Children born into these families are groomed for their future roles in the organization, learning the ways of the mob from an early age. They learn how to keep secrets, how to lie convincingly, how to handle weapons, and even how to take care of problems permanently. So if you want to leave the mob, you have to leave the family behind. But can you really do that? Your spouse may not want to leave. What about your kids? Will they be forced into a life of crime? Will you be able to protect them if you leave? What if you have aging parents who depend on you? How could you bear to leave them behind? These are the kinds of questions that keep most mob members stuck in their dangerous lifestyle. After all, loyalty to one's family is one of the main reasons why people don't rat out other mobsters to the cops. No. 5. Code of silence. Omerta is the Mafia code of silence. It's a vow taken by mobsters to never rat each other out to the police, even when faced with torture or death. This vow extends to their wives, children, and other close associates. So if you marry into the family, you're also expected to keep silent. But what if you decide to leave? Well, then this still applies. You can't go and tell the cops what you know about the mob, even if you're no longer part of the family. In fact, you can't even talk about the mob to anyone outside the family. If you do, you'll be breaking the code and putting yourself in danger. So if you're thinking about leaving the mob, you have to be prepared to keep quiet about it. Don't tell anyone, not even your closest friends and relatives. You have to be totally secretive about your plans because once word gets out, you're a dead man. No. 4. Blood runs thicker than water. Most crime families expect their members to stay in the family business until they die. That means you won't be allowed to leave, even if you want to. It's just not an option. After all, the Mafia is all about loyalty, or at least that's what they say. In reality, it's more about fear than loyalty. If you try to leave the Mafia, your family will be put in danger. They'll be targeted by the rival families that you used to work with. And even if they're not physically harmed, they'll live in fear for their lives. Plus, they'll be shunned by the rest of society. No one will want to associate with them. They'll be outcasts, and that's not a good position to be in. No. 3. Loose lips sink ships. If you try to leave the mob, you need to be careful what you say. One slip of your tongue could put you and your loved ones in danger. You can't trust anyone, not even your best friends. You have to be prepared to keep secrets that could cost you your life. And if you're married into the family, you have to be extra careful. Your spouse and children are now part of the family business, whether they like it or not. If you leave, they're left behind. Targets for the rival families. Can't risk them overhearing conversations that they shouldn't be hearing. Can't risk them finding out information that could put them in danger. You have to be careful not to let your guard down around them either. Even if you think they can be trusted, you can't take the chance. The Mafia is all about trust and betrayal. You can't afford to be sloppy with your words or actions. One mistake could cost you everything. No. 2. Bury the hatchet. If you try to leave the mob, you better make sure you bury the hatchet with everyone you've wronged. It means you have to make amends with the people you've stolen from, the families you've terrorized, and the cops you've eluded. The Mafia is a world where everyone keeps a ledger. Every good deed and bad deed is recorded, and you have to balance the scales before you can leave. But it's not just about making amends. You have to be prepared to face the consequences of your actions. That means you might have to pay back the money you stole, give up the names of your accomplices, and even testify against your former bosses. Leaving the Mafia isn't just about walking away. It's about facing the music and paying the piper. You can't leave the past behind. You have to deal with it head on. No turning back. Once you decide to leave the mob, there's no turning back. There's no such thing as a halfway measure. You can't just take a break from being a mobster. You can't reduce your hours or retire early. You have to go all in or not at all. And if you have a family, it's even harder. You can't put them in danger by leaving. so you have to make sure you're 100% committed before you make your move. Leaving the mob is a full-time commitment. It's a 24/7 job. You have to be willing to sacrifice everything for your new life. That means saying goodbye to your old friends and associates, changing your phone number, getting a new identity and moving to a new city. You have to be willing to start over from scratch, and even then you're not safe. The mob will come after you, and you have to be ready to fight back. You can't afford to be weak or indecisive. You have to be strong and resolute. If you waver at all, the mob will sense it and you're doomed. When someone decides to leave the Mafia, it's usually because they've seen the error of their ways. They realize that the life of crime is not worth the risk. They want to go straight and never look back. But it's not easy to make that transition. There's a lot of baggage that comes along with a life of crime. If you try to leave the mob, you better be prepared to deal with it. It's hard enough to leave any kind of cult-like organization, but it's even harder when there's a real threat of violence involved. If you decide to leave the mob, you have to be prepared for anything. You can't afford to be weak or indecisive. You have to be strong and resolute. If you waver at all, the mob will sense it, and you're doomed. You also have to be careful who you trust. You can't afford to make enemies in the mob. You have to be willing to turn over a new leaf. You can't afford to have any skeletons in your closet. You have to be squeaky clean. And even then, you're not safe. The mob will come after you, and you have to be ready to fight back. So if you're thinking about leaving the mob, you have to be prepared for the long haul. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. Do you know any stories about leaving the Mafia? Share your thoughts in the comments. Please like and share this video. Thanks for watching.